Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good morning. Good morning. It's Saturday. What a great time of the day, you guys. It's 11:11 where I'm at. I don't know if you know much about numerology or things of that nature or angel numbers. But 1111 is a great number. It's a great number. It basically says the stuff you've been sending intentions for are on their way. And yesterday, I ran across an 1111 number as well. And they say, as your intention of what you're trying to manifest, right, gets closer, you're going to start seeing those angel numbers, which the best one you can get is 1111. So anyway, I thought that was pretty fun when I looked down at my iPhone. I'm in my truck this morning. I had to go to the bank. I forgot to run to the bank earlier this morning, so I did that. And in turn, I decided to do my podcast while I'm driving away from the bank. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm headed back home, I guess. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Temperature is 86. I gotta tell you, it's been, I don't know, I call it 100. I think it's been like 98 almost every day. 99, 97, 100. It just varied a little bit, you know. But to me, it's 100 degrees and too hot for Colorado. If I was down in Scottsdale, I could care less. I don't know, just drier down there. Humidity down there is like 6%. So there you go. Hot day, somewhat cloudy. Supposed to rain tomorrow and Monday, some. I don't know when. I didn't check all that out. Oh, there you go. There's a biker chopper going by. But, yeah, and I'm supposed to cut grass tomorrow. I don't know how that's going to work out. But, so anyway, that's the weather and all the reporting done for in this podcast for today. Wanted to talk to you today about something I've been, I've been drumming up some more research and finding more of the most recent stuff out there. Now, this one's been around for a long time. I'm going to be on this busy street for about another 2 minutes, and then I'll be off of the street and the noise will get less. So my apologies. But this is about emotional stress, right? Daily stress kinds of stuff, and heart disease, all right? And how the two are connected. Now, we all know that the two are connected, right? Right? Stress causes all those stress hormones to kick in, the cortisol. And the cortisol, what does it do? My gosh, what does it do? It constricts 60 miles that you have inside of yourself, of your veins and arteries constrict. What happens when it constricts, when your veins and arteries constrict? Your blood pressure shoots through the roof. Your cardiovascular system struggles at best. You become prone after long periods of stress, right? You become prone to having other organs in your body start shutting down or breaking down or needing to be replaced. Examples are, kidneys is one of the main ones that high blood pressure and coronary disease can affect. So, not a good thing. Obviously, you get a surge of adrenaline. You don't need to have a surge of adrenaline. You don't need to have a long-term surge of adrenaline. Now, this report that I read, I was actually reading through the whole, it was a report and a study, the most recent one out there. And it was done, I wonder if I wrote it down. It was done back in Boston. Hospital, I forget which one, but it was in Boston. And pretty well-known hospital. Anyway, they did the research. And they did the research on, I think their initial study was 278 people, but they since have gone and done other studies where there's much higher numbers. And again, everything's coming out about the same. So they come up with all of the damage that stress can cause. All of the coronary, right, stuff that we just talked about is a result of stress. I'm just going to go through a few more, not necessarily in the order of importance, but, stress can cause weight gain, right? Mood change, your emotions get affected. You become much more irritable. You can get angry, you can get frustrated, you can get short-tempered. It's going to start impacting your family, all the people in your family, your immediate friends, the people at work, your moods, your temperament, your personality changes from stress. And again, the statistics also go on to say that 70% of Americans, this is current, so this is as of, kind of like today sort of idea, right? 70% of Americans live in a state of stress. All right? So, sidebar to that, all of your struggle and discomfort in life, be it emotional, physical, or spiritual, is a result of your belief systems, right? That mom, dad, and all the adults taught you when you were actually in your mom's third trimester all the way through age 7. And you live out, that's your subconscious, right? And that's the scripts, that's the program that you run over 90% of your day. It's the same program you ran yesterday, the day before, the week before, the month before, the year before. Your program does not change. That's the part about living in the matrix, right? So, what happens is that out of the over 90% of your day being run from old scripts and programs given to you by your parents for the most part, over 70% of the 90% is harmful for you. You following me on all this? So, of your thoughts every single day, 90% plus are just old scripts, beliefs, and perceptions that you developed from what you learned before the age of 7. Before the age of 7, you were just in theta brainwaves and you were hypnotized, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that stuff. So of that 90%, 70% is damaging and stress-producing. Apart from that, your normal day in America is that you're running 70% of your day under stress. So you got it going and coming, so to speak. Okay, if you followed me through that, you've got stress built in and stress that you brought along with yourself from old past beliefs. Okay? All of that stuff affects your emotional state. And we just talked about all that. You know, you start off as a mood, then you have a temperament after a few weeks, and then it eventually becomes a personality trait, and you know, life just becomes a struggle because of the amount of stress that you're under. All right? So, what else happens as a result of stress? Here's a biggie. This one's huge. This one is gigantic. Your immune system, right? That's your defense in your body, you know, fighting off all the different viruses and diseases and sicknesses and illnesses and you name it, right? It practically shuts down. Immune deficiency disorder, right? You'll run across some people where it seems like they're just always sick or of ill health. They're just not ever sharp physically. You know, there's always some little bug or something that they have that keeps them not functioning in a really strong and healthy manner. So your immune system, big one. Stress directly impacts that and creates a huge amount of damage. When you get one thing wrong with your body, it sometimes affects other organs in your body, right? We all kind of understand that. And again, please understand, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an MD, so I'm explaining in layman's terms the best that I can how I seem to understand this stuff. So your eyesight gets gets affected as a result of damage to other parts of your body and other organs. You know, be it your kidney, be it your lungs, be it your veins, arteries, heart, who knows what. You know, it's going to have an impact on things like your eyesight. All of the other organs in your body also get a taste of not running at optimum level and have the possibility to degenerate and worsen to the point that they become so damaged they have to be replaced, or you need surgery, or who knows what. Stress, I guess, is just a culprit that we all have to deal with, and there's different ways of doing it. This particular hospital that ran this study, this research out of Boston, you know, they came up with some of the obvious things, and again, you know, they're not breaking new ground here, but they did come up with some things, and I'm going to mention a couple of them. We all know that if you exercise every day, you're going to enhance your immune system, right? You're going to reduce the stress in your life for the obvious reasons, because you're just getting it out in a physical manner, right? All right. So exercise is always on the top list of everybody's research. It just has incredible benefits to it because it moves the chemicals around in the body, which changes the biology, which changes the way the organs work for the better. Okay, so I'm at a place where I can park now for a little bit. Sorry about the inconvenience with that, you guys. So it went on to say you need to get enough sleep. That's kind of a contradictory sort of thing, because if you're under stress, you're probably not sleeping real well. And they're saying you need to have optimum amount of sleep. Well, I don't know how you're going to do that, because one works against the other. But they are saying that you have exercise, and of course sleep is, I think I did a podcast on this before, rest and recovery. It's a chance for your brain, not your mind, right? It's your brain. It's a chance for your brain to rest and recover. That's what it does at night. As a result of all the stress, all the issues, all the complications, the struggles and everything, at night your brain goes back through all that stuff and recovers from it and puts everything back in its proper place. Honest to God, it does. The brain heals itself. And a lot of that healing is done at night. That's why this Boston research is saying get a lot of sleep so that you can have your brain heal itself. It's called neuroplasticity, just as a sidebar. But when the brain is healing itself, right, that's called neuroplasticity. Regardless of your age, your entire life, your brain will, I'm going to say the word correct itself, make adjustments to itself. It's just taking neurons that are connected, and they're unhealthy neurons that are connected. They're disconnecting them and putting them back together with healthy ones. They're putting the clusters of neurons back together with healthy clusters, and they're pruning apart the old clusters that were of negative value. So neuroplasticity, even the person who has the stroke, heart attack not so much, but stroke, neuroplasticity, it just recovers the brain, and for so many years it was just forever the doctors would say, well, we're probably not going to get the brain back, after a short period of time. Whatever damage was done was done. Well, that's just rubbish. That's not true. That's not science. That's not current. That's Newtonian medicine. It doesn't apply. We're in a quantum world now with quantum medicine or physics. So anyway, they talk about exercise and sleep. We understand that stuff as well. Yesterday, I also read another research project, which I was going to do today, but I decided to do this one. And I am going to go back and do this one. But this is how to heal yourself through your diet. No, it's not a trend. It has nothing to do with a trend. This was he used to be up in Canada, a doctor. I forget what kind of doctor he was. And he got to the point where he felt like he wasn't being of any value to his patients, right? Because what he was saying to them was not what was working. And then he did research, and the hospital that he worked for did a whole bunch of research and whatnot. And they came up with this. And they have science and statistics and facts and case study after case study, So this isn't just hype. They took patients with cancers, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, of course, that's an easy one. Nobody should ever have diabetes, for Christ out loud. If anybody has diabetes, just disconnect from this radio program and go someplace else. Because diabetes is the easiest thing in the world to get rid of. If you have it longer than 2 or 3 weeks, you're nuts. But anyway, so this study out of Canada from this medical doctor at his hospital with a team of research physicians. They took terminally ill patients that would normally be treated with just, I don't know, pharmaceutical drugs that kill you as far as I'm concerned. And what he said, this is interesting, I also listened to his TED talk. It wasn't a TEDx talk, it was a TED talk up in Canada. And he even said the same thing. Pharmaceutical companies are corrupting the physicians of today. And they're making them think they need to give medicines to get people well. They're saying to the doctors, you need to give all of this medicine to everybody regardless of what they have. You know, there's a medicine for everything, so to speak. And what they came up with, I mean, I'm the guy, I'm the neuroscientist who talks about, self-healing. And let me show you how to upregulate and downregulate your genes and you can be fine. Let me show you how to lengthen your telomeres and you can live to 110. But so they took this study of, I forget how many people they had in the first one, and they changed their diet 100% to all natural food. Now, please hear this, you guys. Please hear this. How much time have I got? I hope I'm doing okay. So, you get rid of all the red meat. You get rid of all the chicken. You know, all of the ham and animals that are raised for slaughter to feed the world are full of chemicals and agents that will upregulate genes with all the diseases to kill you. I mean, they do the research. They go and they do all the studies. They do all the questionnaires. They investigate every single person who signs up. Blah, blah, blah. They're just collecting facts, and all I'm doing is just presenting these facts to you. This is just science, okay? So that's the first thing they got rid of. Number 2, don't ever open a can of anything. Number 1, the obvious is it's just saturated with salt. And number 2, it's got preservatives, as does the beef and the ham and the chicken and the blah, 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 blah. It all has preservatives, as does all the canned stuff. I've been saying this for years to people, and everybody just poo-poos me, but, the supermarket doesn't extend past the vegetable and fruit area. You don't open or buy or obtain a can of anything. Run as fast as you can away from those aisles. I don't care what you think about that. It's your life. You either live or you die. Also, the frozen food section. Oh my gosh. What? So there's all of the agents that are inside of frozen food that have contaminants. Right? There's all of the preservatives. I mean, you can keep things frozen for a period of time, and then after a while, you can't keep them frozen anymore. But once you open, all the preservatives are exposed, and you've got to eat them so that the preservatives don't destroy the food. But you just stay away from the frozen food section. You don't need ice cream anyway, so just forget that even exists on the planet. I mean, please just forget that that exists even on the planet. So the frozen food section, the canned section, and all of the animals raised for slaughter. Now, just go back to the animals raised for slaughter. They went and did a part of the study had to do with investigating the beef. All of the beef was contaminated just with things like germs and contaminants. Disgusting high levels, high numbers of ugly things that can make you deathly sick or kill you. And the way we remedy that is, of course, they put preservatives in the beef, of course they do, and all that other kind of stuff, is that we just burn the meat in hopes that we're killing all of the contaminants, the germs. He went on to say in his TED Talk that it's disgusting if you were to see what actually is in a steak. You would never, ever touch a steak the rest of your life. Okay, so fish. Not necessarily. Maybe there's a few. But the fish in the ocean are contaminated. I mean, you've been reading that, right? I mean, I'm not telling you anything new, I hope. But, you know, what do you think countries do with their waste? They go and they drop it out in the ocean. What do you think happened to that nuclear catastrophe over in Tokyo or Japan or something? Where did that go? That went into the ocean. We have currently today, compared to 1970, 50% of our fish are gone in the ocean. By the year 1948, there will be no fish left in the ocean. Now, of course, you know, there's man-made problems to where man is going out and fishing to the extent that, you know, they're killing species. And I mean, they're taking fish and eliminating them. But the fish in the ocean, even without the fishermen, are dying because of the contaminants that man has put in the ocean. So from 70 to now, there's 50% of the fish in the ocean. From now to 2048, we will no longer have fish in the ocean. That's a pretty good case to not eat fish. Now, he went on a lot more than what I'm going to, and I'm running too long already today, but you know, even the fish in the mountain streams and the lakes and blah, you know, all of the chemicals from the farms and the ranches eventually drain down and back into the lakes and into the rivers, and it contaminates the fish, and you probably don't want to have a rainbow trout for dinner tonight. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Here's what happens. I'm going to shorten this up a lot. You just buy natural food, preferably plant food, right? Grown, that's organic. In other words, it doesn't have contaminants and pesticides and preservatives and everything into the ground to where it comes up in the corn and in the beans and, you know, the cabbage and the lettuce and all that kind of stuff. So you need to get organic. You need to get all natural food, fruits and vegetables. Protein. Everybody wants protein, right? Well, Go do your research on natural food and go see where the protein is. There's protein all over the place with fruits and vegetables. You just have to go find out which ones have it and which ones don't. In a 6-week period of time, 6 weeks, if you switch over, you're going to lose 20 pounds. The average person in the study lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Of the people, and these are all people that had terminal illnesses, they were dying, right? They were going to die within a period of time, a matter of weeks or months. Disease, gone. What do they say? I like the word eradicated. They go back to their oncologist or whoever their doctor happens to be, and they cannot find the cancer cells any longer. And what do we have? 100 trillion cells? 86 billion genes or something? And I'm not even going to get into how many neuron connections, synapses we have. I forgot that one. But they cured, through this diet that I just went through with you for the last 4 or 5 minutes, it was like 86% of those people lived and never had a sick day the rest of their life and continue to be alive today. He was on TED. Go to YouTube and look it up. You know, the doctor who has the cure for terminal illness as a result of natural food. Anyway, I got to get on with this stuff. Here's mindfulness. The Boston study also talks about practicing mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Staying present. Newtonian model, which most people live by, is past, present, and future. Quantum model is the past, the present, and the future is right now. You can change your past right now, because as you're thinking about your past, you might actually be living it at the current time. Think about that. You could change your past right now, because you might be living 20 years ahead of time right now. You might actually be 20 years ahead of where you think you're at right now, and you can. The quantum model is a model of infinite possibilities. So they talk about mindfulness. It's just as important as exercise, sleep, and eating the correct stuff. The other one that they talk about that's equally important is meditation. Meditation is the cure to terminal illness. It's the channel that allows you to upregulate and downregulate genes. Period. Now, you have to get good at doing it. You have to have training. You have to have education. A person doesn't need therapy anymore. Don't go to any more therapists or counselors. It's just, what do you need to go back and relive all that old stuff for? Just do the science, and you'll be fine. So meditation. I'm going to shorten my comments on meditation. You know that I'm a believer in it. I do it, 3 hours a day, morning and evening, and it's a miracle. It's just a miracle. So emotional stress and heart disease are directly related. I'm sure there's studies out there on emotional stress and kidney disease, or emotional distress and who knows what, Alzheimer's or some other terminally ill disease that people can acquire. And again, it's a result of many different things, but the food we eat is right up there at the top. And the amount of stress that we bring into our lives from being born to the amount of stress that we live today just being on the planet. It goes on and on and on and on. And anyway, that's their little bit. So, what else do they say here? They actually have measurements that they've taken through their techniques of reducing the stress. And again, they put people on meditating for the 6 weeks. I think it was a 6-week study. And then it went on to, I think they were in year 4. They tracked the people after the initial study. But it's remarkable. If you do the things that are written down out of the research, you can self-heal. So anyway, hope you guys all have a good weekend. It's still hot here. I don't know what to tell you about that. But I hope you have a good weekend wherever you're at. God bless everybody. Take care of one another. And I'll look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Thanks. See you. Bye.